Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Amir Hazril. So I'm actually based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So if anyone joining us from outside of Malaysia, so I'm currently the junior HRBP. I've not have that many experience, not that many experience in HR, but I've been in property, I've been in audit, I've been in sales, and finally in HR. So now I play the role of a junior HRBP in my current employment. I think for the purpose of today's session, please, I'll just say this is my first time sharing on the AsiaHRM platform, and this is my sharing session, not a platform for me to teach how to do it, but share with you on how actually was done before and some of the things that you can actually look into applying in your own organization. So yeah, so that's pretty much about me. Maybe you can have the next person introduce a quick introduction about themselves and what is your expectation for this session.
Maybe Adeline, you like to say something quickly?
Sure. Hey, hi, I'm Adeline. May not have seen most of you here, but I've been with Rita since quite a while. I think so, or I guess so. Yeah, so this platform is actually quite good because we always get to have sharing and learning. Maybe some expectation is that I think we are here to share, so here to learn as well. So Amir, thanks for sharing your knowledge with us as well. Yeah, so I've been HR for not too long also, about 6-7 years. Yeah. Okay, the next person. Thank you.
Olivia, yeah, Amelia.
Amelia.
I volunteered myself before more coming, so I can skip all these the nervousness that I have. Okay, my name is Amelia. I used to be HR until 6 years ago when I started my own business. So since then, I'm no longer known as a HR personnel. I'm more known as an entrepreneur. I've been in marketing, like something like what Amir said. Sometimes we come from different background, right? So I've been in marketing, PR, and eventually I end up in human resource. So I retired from corporate as a human resource. Looking into Amir poster talking about this subject is basically enticed me because I want to hear what is the perspective from young people. Really, sometimes we learn. I've been in corporate, I think before even I start my business about 23 years. So now I've been doing business like almost 7 years. Right, so I want to hear, and my expectation is all about learning. It's not about comparing nothing. And I must praise you, Amir, because you really take this opportunity to really share from your point of view, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Amelia.
So Amelia, where are you from?
I'm from Malaysia.
Egypt.
Malaysia. I'm from Malaysia.
Malaysia. Malaysia. Oh, sorry, Malaysia.
All right. Thank you,
Olivia. Let's do a quick introduction of yourself.
Hi everyone. So I'm Olivia. I'm also from Malaysia, KL to be specific, and I think there are a few familiar faces here because we're actually having the same program running. We just met last night actually, and then I actually another one of my colleagues here as well, Siti. Yeah, so we are both in the IT and digital consulting, basically the tech industry at this point in time. I saw the posting on how this topic is being shared this week, and it really got me excited because it was actually a topic that I even told Siti that we want to, find courses, trainings, and whatnot to, learn a bit more about this area. So yeah, this came out at the right time, and we're here because we just want to know more and see what's being shared. So yes, thank you.
Thank you, Olivia.
Siti, what, you want to say something? Siti?
Hi everyone. So I think Olivia already covered what I want to say. Okay. Yeah, I can. I want to learn something for these sessions for my personal growth also. So yeah, thanks, Amir.
You're welcome.
Okay. So my friend Mary Lane, are you there? Mary Lane. Maryland, my
Hi,
friend.
hi everyone. Sorry, I was like holding my baby. So anyway, hi everyone.
Hello.
I'm Mary Len again, and I'm the founder and CEO of Customized Training Solutions Private Limited. And we serve leaders and organizations across industries to help them with co-created and customized programs to help them to get most outcomes among the programs and interventions that we facilitate. And I got interested in the program or in this sharing because I'm not familiar at all with that topic, to be exact. I don't have any HR experience, and but I do serve a lot of HR in organizations. So I believe the knowledge about this will really help me in serving better.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Thank you
good.
so much. And
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss
Marie.
Marilyn.
Yeah, Marie.
Hello, hi, good afternoon. Good
Hello.
afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Miss Rita. So my name is Marie. I'm originally from the Philippines, but I'm currently working and living here in Cambodia for 13 years. And actually, I'm a part of the core committee member of AsiaHRM with Miss Rita. We started in 2018. So it's quite, we've gone a long way with these programs and sharing session and online certification. And if you would allow me, I have a task from Miss Rita. So we are so if you would allow me, let me ask. Okay, so I would like to take this opportunity to invite everyone to share your HR business partnering stories. Okay, because as part of our HRM, we would like to compile a book regarding HR business partnering stories. So this book will be shared to those who would share their real life stories. What kind of programs, HR business partner strategies that they put into their organization. What are the takeaways and how they made it successful. So if you would like to, if you're interested to contribute, please, I'm part of the AsiaHRM Platinum member and also club host. So you can get my number, or I can put my number in here. You can add me on WhatsApp, and you can let me know. Please let me know if you're interested to be part of this book, another milestone from AsiaHRM. Thank you very much, everyone.
Oh, thank
Great.
you, my dear
Thank
Marie.
you.
So Joanne, would like to have a quick introduction of yourself, Joanne?
Hi, Rita and everyone.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay, I'm from Malaysia. I'm working in Bumi Armada in oil and gas industry, and it's my first time here. I'm here to learn actually. I've never attended such events. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you, Joanne,
you.
to become my friend. She has put on mute. Jessica, can you hear us? To me, Jessica is an encyclopedia. To me, wherever you ask anything, she can answer. But this time she doesn't
Wow.
answer. This time she doesn't answer. Maybe she's she's doing something else. Doesn't matter. And Jessica is from Singapore, and she has
I
been
see.
HR leader for many years, and she knows everything, especially in the HR field. And Clement, is it Clementi or Clementine? Clementine Chin?
I think Kamita put in the chat box. So she's from Malaysia. Oh, she's having a bad toothache right now. So get well
Okay.
soon.
Okay. So shall we start, Amir? So I'm
Yep.
Rita. So I'm so glad that we have a sort of first member sharing session initiated by Amir. So Maria, the floor is yours.
Okay.
And then we have, so you'd like to share some slides? Okay.
Yep. Can you see my slides? Okay. Are you seeing presenter mode or are you seeing
I
the
can
slides?
see your poster, the poster. Yeah, the
Okay.
slides. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So just a quick sharing. So thank you everyone. So for being here today on a very lovely Saturday. So the topic that I'll be sharing
We
for
see
today.
your presenter mode, right? So I can see your notes.
Okay, I'll swap it. Is that it now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So I'll be sharing on job leveling and job grading. So it's just an experience that I had my previous employments. So the focus is simple. It's just we'll look at the what, why, and how of job leveling itself. So basically, if I were to put into perspective of what job leveling is, this is based on the website lattice.com. So it mentioned that job leveling is also known as job classification. So it's a system that HR and people leaders use to define job role, develop career path and internal mobilities process, and create clear levels and job hierarchies within an organization. So that's basically a short introduction of what job leveling is. So the things that you have to, what matters most and what you have to consider before starting a job leveling process is, first of all, what is the culture of your organization? So what equitable frameworks that can be developed that is not disadvantage to anyone? What it means here is that when you do job leveling, sometimes you tend to find certain positions that is, not performing at its supposed expected level, doesn't have the required skills and things like that. And then the idea of having job leveling is also to support not just the performance management system, but also to support the learning and develop learning needs analysis. So I'll share with you later in the later slides. So number two is making job leveling easy to communicate. So it has to be easy to use and also easy to communicate to managers, because as HR, what we have to do, and we always we have to liaise with a lot of HODs and managers. So when we run this process of doing job leveling, so it has to be easy to use and easy to communicate. The questions has to be straightforward, and it will also ease them to actually answer certain questions. I'll also share with you some of this set of questions and how are the ways that you can actually approach them in assisting you to do the job leveling process. So number three is tailor your job leveling to your organization. So you have to understand that when you do job leveling, is actually a massive process. So you can either do it on your own, or you can actually get a consultant in. So in my first round that I was actually got into the team that works on job leveling, the first few rounds we actually engaged one of the big four firms to run it. Big four, it cost a bomb. So after a while, so the thing is, it's tailored. We got into the process of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and we realized that after phase 2, we can actually run it on our own, and we know we have gathered like HR from other departments and other subsidiary companies that actually help us to actually run this thing. And then you have to see with this, you have to tailor to your organization. What's the need of your organization? You don't have to get a consultant. You can actually run it on your own, and you have to make it as easy as possible. And number 4 is you have to communicate why you do this job leveling. What are the benefits of it? Why are you doing this? And then the employees, not just to the managers, but also to the employees themselves, because they need to understand what they need to focus on when it comes to their career development. So basically, again, like the question of why we need job levels is actually many employers use an employee grade level system, helps to differentiate between position and standardize compensation across equivalent skill sets and responsibilities. So this type of system actually helps you to understand and ensure fair, consistent treatment and compensation for employees. So I've also put a source there. You can read more about it on thebalancedcareer.com. And just a quick benefits that we can actually see into why we need job levelings is, first of all, it helps you to grade positions value. So when we talk about grading a position's value, it's talking about, you know, having a paid grade positions value. So having an inaccurate evaluation of a position or a role that actually leads to a lot of pay dissatisfaction and wasted payroll dollars. So for example, if you know that you're employing someone who's actually, especially when when we have a company that actually, for example, like a lot of sales team, different sales team selling different things, for example. So if a person is, you got them selling car, and then you expect them to sell houses, so it doesn't work for a lot of them. So with that, you have to actually clarify the certain criteria that this person, the technical abilities, the market intelligence of that person, and then you have to put it into place, and that is based on position. So if you don't get this right, you might waste on payroll dollars, and you might also waste your money in actually going through the process of recruiting another talent. So that's what it means here. And number two, systemic method of objectively and accurate assigning value to individual positions within organization. So like I mentioned previously, so this process actually helps you to define and evaluate knowledge and skills to perform the job. And we have to establish the job duties, responsibilities, task, and even the level of authority of the specific position. And number three, the effects of inappropriate leveling often have systemic and lasting implications. For example, to organizations, a job that are valued too high will result in additional compensation expense. Means this person is not, you've been looking into performance management, you've been training this person, but then, after evaluating, after running the performance management, you find there's a lot of gaps. And this usually performance management is done onto individuals. But when we do job leveling, we look into the specific roles or specific tasks. And for employees, jobs that are valued a bit too low may be constructed as personal affronts or a threat to their position. For example, if I were to have an experience or a number of years of experience or market experience of a certain years, I would probably want to be positioned in the organization a bit higher. But then if I were to be given a lower position, then I have to also understand why was I given that position. And then from your side as well, you have to justify that with a specific job leveling position details or parameters that we can actually go through later. So this one you can actually get from the AsiaHRM, or Society for Human Resource Management. So more details you can get there. Please do let me know if I'm going a bit too fast. So I tend to speak a bit like a bullet train. So next is we have the 5 competitive advantages of job grade leveling. So number 1 is it helps with financial certainty. So setting the right budget, and this again helps you with your workforce budgeting for the year or the coming year, and it helps you to know like which position to fill, and and then who's going to grow in the organization after that. And number 2 is retain valued employees or talents. So ensure employees or talents understand the logic and process that defines the level of their pay. So don't be confused with the salary band or salary scale. So job leveling is actually focused on the task and deliverables of the position, not the salary itself. So salary band or salary scale is another total different story that we can actually go into. And then it also helps you to actually promote efficient and effective role assessment and career development. Number 3 is you are able to actually attract more talents, whether it's internally or externally. You're able to enhance your employee value proposition. So for example, if this person is given a certain role, for example, a manager level, but we're seeing a lot of gaps and things like that, we go through any needs analysis, we look into it. But then again, this is based, like I mentioned, numerous times just now. So we look into this person. Oh, yes, we fill in the gaps for this person. But with this position, for example, like a sales manager, have you looked into if you were to be replacing this person, the sales manager, do you have all what it needs to for this sales manager to deliver at the end of the day? And then you also will be able to show the candidates that you actually want to put into your company that your organization is committed to fair and equal opportunities. Number 4, it helps you to create a vision or demonstrate vision. So this framework of job leveling is a reference tool for your career development and succession planning. So it identifies early where certain roles need to be recruited or to be filled, and then where and when key individuals are making the case for promotions. So if this person have done this much, this much, and next is to be learning this much. So the question is that, do you have the capability, or do you have the financial capability to actually promote this person? And then you have to look into the same case to, unfortunately, to certain individuals, they have to go through demotion as well. So then you have to actually look into this position that you have, and you have the vacancies to be filled by anyone within or externally, and having that position clearly spelled out, the task, the level of authorities, the experience, the knowledge that they have will help you to actually make a better case, especially when you were to become a consultant or a HR business partner in the future. And then number 5 is actually achieve compliance. So some employment tribunals actually look into the question of what is equal or what is fair to the employee. And the answer really lies in the application of fair analytical job evaluation. So sometimes we've been given a certain employee actually a position, a too high position. We feel that, oh, this person has been in industry for that long and then can produce this and that after that. And then within the 6 months period of their probation, we feel that, oh, this person is not, achieving a certain expectation. And with that, certain companies will tend to just like, okay, this doesn't work for this person, and then we just have to look into maybe put this person either into PIP, performance improvement plan, or we have to actually demote this person. But then again, do you know that what does this specific position need to deliver, and what are the capabilities that this person that comes into that specific filling that specific spot is able to deliver at the end of the day? And then you also, with this achieve compliance, it also help to be the most reliable way in assessing jobs, which is are equal value, and also to be classed in the same grade. So you can have managers, sales managers, HR managers, marketing managers having the same competency, for example, and certain technical skills, certain skills that they can actually play as well. So the role of human resource department in job leveling process, the first one is actually you have to describe the nature, scope, and responsibility of the role in detail. Define the criteria for education and background experience. So a lot of us have already had this in our JD, but more often than not, JDs are actually kept in the shared drive, or is actually kept in the file only when you want to get you want to go through promotions, when you want to go through performance management. But from time to time, we actually tend to forget to look into this JD, and then only when it's needed, then we kind of try to update it accordingly. Whereas having this done right in the first place will actually support you for whatever process that you can have in the future. Number 3 is it helps you to evaluate the budgetary and decision-making authority. Number 4, look at the expected career progression, how you can actually go from a marketing exec to a senior exec, AM, managers, and so forth. And then compare the role to others within the department. And also it helps you to compare the role and job parameters of different industries. For example, I'm from the manufacturing industry, so my salesperson might be different from a salesperson of a retail company, might be different from your company who's doing consultation. So then you have to look into what are the technical skills and what the abilities that this position of a sales consultant need to have. So ideally, so having a job grade level, you probably seen this before, and then maybe your companies also have it, maybe slightly different to what I'm having here right now. So as you can see on the right side first, we see into the category, role, and grade level. So you have the non-execs, and then executives usually is divided into two. We have the executives and senior executives, EG1 and EG2. And then managers, we have the assistant managers and managers, EG4. Then after that, we have HODs, who is the senior managers or assistant GM, GM, and after that is GM or vice president. And when I actually went through this, so I can see like some of departments actually have directors as well, and then some have VP and some have the C-suites. So, and then when I was in my previous employment, I actually have the chief marketing officer actually reporting to the VP of marketing. And then that questions me, and that got me into like, doing a bit of research. And then what I can see is there like the VP is actually more of a senior role, and VP usually reports to C-suite. So having the word chief there actually means you're of a certain level of the C-suite of the company. So then again, this position of VP, director, and C-suite are pretty interchangeable in a lot of companies. But then again, having a proper job grade level and proper parameters to see into the position helps you to clarify the role better. Okay, do I have any questions so far? Anyone before I go into the parameters?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the parameters, okay, if I don't have any questions, so I'll go, oh, sorry. Yeah, okay, so the parameters to observe based on job grade level. So basically level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 is actually based on the non-exec executives. Then we have managers, we have HODs and C-suites. So look into the experiences. So usually, so this is not set in stones. This you can actually, again, like I mentioned way earlier, you can actually cater to your industry and also to your company's culture and also to your company's deliverables as well. Then you can look into like the first one is experience. Usually the entry levels of those who have less than 3 years of relevant experience, and level 2 is those who have 3 to 5 years experience. And then you can see level 3, 5 to 7, level 4, 8 to 10, and then level 5, the C-suites have 10 years experience of the relevant industry or relevant position. And then the deliverables, you can see level 1 looks into following a lot of standard work routines. So more like, okay, just do day in, day out based on a certain KPI that was given. Whereas level 2 look into the procedural or system experience, having to know, okay, what system to play around with and how they can actually improve the system. And then level 3, you can see must have a very good, actually have a good command of the procedures and the system involved in talent hiring as well, because this is managers and senior technical professionals. Why do I separate actually managers and senior technical professionals? Because as you can see, especially in the IT industry, there are a lot of people who do not want to be managers. They don't want to be leaders. They want to be senior specialists. They want to be specialists in what they're doing, meaning they're really good at what they're doing and they don't have anyone reporting to them, but they are the go-to person that when it comes to a specific role in the organization. And then level 4, when it comes to deliverables, is this person, this position have to have a thorough understanding of the theoretical and practical application, how they can tweak a certain theoretical processes to fit into what is actually being done in the market or by the company themselves. And then the C-suite, it looks into develop and direct short-term and long-term goals, giving directions in where the team or the company is heading. And then supervision, level 1 usually work under close supervision. I'm not saying that they're under, what do you call that? Close supervision does not mean that they've been controlled in what you're doing, but they've been or monitored closely. But it's more of like, okay, I've given you a KPI, probably a daily task, probably a weekly task, and they have to perform accordingly. Level 2 work under general supervision. So generally, you mentioned about getting from point A to point B, and this person just have to deliver from point A, point B. And we can see that a lot of companies are actually practicing that. And currently, right now, what is practiced actually in my company or the company that I work with right now is what we call context, not control. So leaders usually they give you like, oh, okay, right now we're at point A, we want to get to point C. I'll be here. I let you find your way how to get to point A to point B to point C. But at the end of the day, I know we want to get to point C. So having that context actually leaves the talent to have more imagination, opens to more what do you call that? Openness to find better ways to provide solution. And then level 3 is work to specific measurable objectives requiring operational planning skills and little direct supervision. And level 4, we can see that this position, if having a significant latitude for making decisions for their operational or functional units. What it means here is also that probably over the years we have done this certain way, but having that significant latitude of making decisions and knowing the operations itself, this position actually able to actually tweak it into looking into, okay, what is best for the specific team, what is best for the specific department. And then the C-suite, when it talks about supervision, is the one that actually gives strategic guidance as compared to be receiving supervision or guidance. And then people skills, level 1 usually have minimal people skills. Level 2, good people skills. Level 3, having a very crucial people skills because they have to manage. They are the people manager. And level 4 are the one who have very essential people skills. They have to understand how different team works, not just different individuals. And C-suite is the one that actually have the ability to develop people as compared to develop teams or just knowing how to liaise with certain people. So having the C-suites have the ability to develop more people will actually help the C-suites to understand how they can actually develop a certain, for example, a CHRO would know that, how can I, develop certain department, people in a certain department and become, better at what they're doing. So when it comes to decision making, so level 1 have little to almost no decision making ability. They've been given a task to complete. And level 2 look into decision based on established procedures. Level 3 making decisions within their unit. Well, level 4 is mostly on higher and fire authority. So what works and what not. And then level 5 is have a broad decision making latitude within the functional units. So like I mentioned, for example, whether it's a chief marketing officer, chief technology officer, or CHRO themselves. And then lastly is budgetary responsibility. So level 1 usually have no budgetary responsibility or ability to spend. They've been given a certain amount to work within that amount, not to just perform the skills within the amount. Level 2 usually have nominal, a certain budgeting be given to them. For example, they have entertainment budgetings, and then they have the responsibility to actually play around with that amount of budget that they have. And then level 3, I have the budgetary responsibilities, because they are usually the one who actually manage a team of individuals or talents. So with that, they have to look into, okay, how much does a person need to spend and so forth. And level 4 is direct expense responsibility, which is actually significant to the departmental or unit budgets. And level 5 is where this person has to have the complete budgetary control over the whole functions. So those are the parameters. So just to recap, it's we have to look into the experience, deliverables, supervision, people skills, decision making, and budgetary responsibility. Okay, so this is based on the experience that I have, and this is just there's more breakdowns of this, but I make it as simple as 5 steps in basically. So the first one, in order for you to start doing your job leveling process, first of all, you have to list down employees by function and department and determine employees' job scopes and job description. After that, you look into identifying and assess job description themselves, engage HRDs to better identify each position's job parameters by using job analysis questionnaires. I will share the questionnaire later. And then third step is actually to collate all the information and determine grade level. So with this, you can actually group existing employees within the same grade level. And then after that, you have to assess your group-wide distribution. And number 4 is identify and assess gaps. You can use identify gaps by conducting your performance management system, and also provide necessary trainings when it comes to your learning needs analysis. And then lastly, with all of this done, you can also conduct or do your project manpower planning better. And this will help you to actually understand and avoid excessive overheads and promote scalable succession planning. So the first one, let's look into what I did actually before. Just to share with you, so this is actually a real case right now. What I'm doing currently is, I've hide. Okay, the names are hidden. So we have as you can see down there, those are actually the subsidiary companies that we have under the group. And then you have the start date, you have the years of experience, you have the designation, of course, in between the years of service and designation. I have the names, who are the HODs, which department they're at, and then grouping them accordingly will help you to actually have a better understanding in your organization. And obviously, if you can have the org chart ready, will be even better. So org chart is very important as well in this process. Next is identifying and assess job descriptions. So with this, you have to go through the job parameters that I mentioned previously by using a simple job analysis questionnaires. So job analysis questionnaires, for example, as a basic of executive or senior executive, you have to also question yourself or your HODs or the managers. Why does this position exist? Why do you need this position in this organization? That's the first question. And after that, with that, you have to know, you also have to ask the leaders actually, what does this position contribute in terms of achieving their departmental targets? So with that, they have a better understanding to know okay, I need this or I don't need this position. And then number 3 is what are the day-to-day functions to achieve the above position. And then number 4 is what is the greatest challenge to the job? For example, there's a lot of technical tasks, or there's a lot of site visiting, or there's a lot of meeting, especially now with the pandemic going on. So there's a lot of exposing to threats that is happening out there. So you have to also understand that the item number 4. And item number 5 is what is the most and least satisfying part of the job. So this question is actually debatable when I actually went through with my leader last time. So my question is that why do we have to ask this? Why is this question important? So the answer was given to me is that having the better understanding of the most and least satisfying part of the job actually helps you to not just have the job leveling properly in place, but also helps you to understand when you want to conduct your recruitment process. It helps you to trigger some questions to your candidates as well. And also when it comes to promotions and things like that, when you have this in place, these are the trigger questions that you can actually ask your talent, or are they okay with this certain things to do certain things to actually fulfill the position of an assistant manager, for example. And then number 6, what types of problems does it refer to? Does it need actually? Sorry, I lose out the word need. Does it need to refer to higher authority? So, for example, an executive or senior executive, what are the things or problems that need to highlight to the leaders, or to get the leaders to actually approve and things like that. Where number 7 is certain knowledge, skills, abilities that are required to perform this role. And then number 8, what is the level of decision making? So can they make decision making? Yes, no. If yes, then what is the extent of the level of decision making that this position can do? And number 9, what is the difference in terms of responsibilities and accountabilities compared to the grade lower? So for example, if we're looking into executives, then you have to look, okay, what's the difference between me, an exec, and a non-executive? You have to, as a leader or as a manager, they need to be able to actually, spell that out, because that will also help to understand, okay, what is the level of a certain pay that you're able to pay this position. So if this person is actually doing the same thing as a non-executive, and then are you giving the same pay scale for an executive and non-executive, then it helps you to actually better understand the needs and also the level of quality of certain position. And then number 10 is what the criteria can be used to assess job performance. So this is executive and senior executive. So when we move to assistant managers or managers, let's just focus on number 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So number 8, then you have to see what are the reporting frequencies and depth of delegation. So how much can they actually delegate? How many times do they have reporting meetings or alignments with the team? So that has to also be specified. Or then again, like I mentioned way earlier, that this has to be actually catered to your organization culture and your organization practice itself. Like for example, in the organization that I'm working right now, that we have daily alignments, we have weekly alignments. So some companies probably just have like bi-weekly or 2 days once. So that has to be specifically tailored to your organization. Number 9, what information of control is used? So information of control here, you can look into what what is the technical abilities that this person can actually use when it comes to, like, for example, an IT person, the information control is, they can access certain files. They can, this position actually can access certain files that is not does not lead to the what do you call that financial factors of it. Oh, the screen is black. Oh, okay.
But it's okay for me. I say it's also okay for Adeline, right?
Okay.
Marie, maybe something wrong with your laptop.
Okay.
Yeah, only Marie has this issue then.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Rita. Okay. And then number 10 is actually, how is your control over subordinate exercise? How do you make sure they perform? Okay, what is the way that you actually track their performances? And then how you can actually, look into, this play hand in hand with number 8. What's the depth of the delegation that you can actually do? And then number 11, what's the level of authority for this role? And number 12 is, who are your direct reports? Okay, so most of the times we see a lot of like organizations when they have like, one manager have like 20 direct reports, which doesn't make sense. So if a manager have like 20 direct reports, then probably you need to have a position below you, or be it a system manager or be it a senior executive, that actually will have that layer of control before it gets to the lower level. So this exercise actually helps you to actually create a better, not just better looking org chart, also a better functioning org chart of your organization. And then, okay. And then when we look into the senior managers or HODs, yes, you have to follow all the basic questions that I have just now. And then you have to look into the connections that this job has to the preparation of budget and the preparation of forecasting, long-term and short-term, of the specific roles. You look into expanding the team or expansion of the business itself. So this position has to have that capability. And lastly, it's obviously on the authorization of expenditures. How much can this position is allowed to actually play around with? So having this set in in a proper way, it helps you to better put a person into the specific role. So having this job analysis questionnaire tools, you can actually use Google Forms. You can even the manual way of using Microsoft Excel. And for us, we actually use M365 forms, and then everything will just be collated right away. And then some companies actually use SurveyMonkeys as well. But actually, this is just tools, and then you have to find the best tools that you can actually use. So as I mentioned previously, when we actually run this, so it depends whether you run in-house or you get an external consultant to actually run it for you. So if you have an external consultant that runs for you, they probably have the best job analysis. They probably have the best tools to use. But if you do it in-house, there's a lot of limitations in terms of time. And then you have to find, how can the managers actually, or the HODs actually fill in the questions faster, and you can collate information better. So just to share with you, so this is, for example, after having some of the questionnaires out. So this is actually for sales consultant that I actually managed to gather, and this is a combination of several departments as well, several subsidiary companies when it comes to sales consultant. So they have the same position, but some companies have does not have the same competency. Like for example, years of experience, yes, it's clearly stated. So what, as you can see here, it's a bit small, but what does this position actually, why does this position exist? So what is this position actually expected to achieve? Then you have to clearly specify the specific things that this position have to actually deliver. So not to be confused, again, not to be confused to just job descriptions, because job description will just tell you like, okay, what deliverables, but job analysis is looking into like as a whole, even to a point of like, traveling to quoting price, and even task that's actually listed. Even the task is also listed in here. And then what are the technical abilities? This position has to have, Microsoft Office, and then sales system and tools, which again, that is, tailored to your organization. And then, for example, here, what does this position contribute? Then you can see as an executive, it just follow standard work routines as compared to the senior executive and assistant managers. Is more into having procedural or system experience. So this is when you collate the information. So yeah, so when you actually have the information after you run the job analysis questionnaires, you collate the information, and after that, you will be able to actually assess the group-wide distribution. So this is just something that I got via the internet. I can't share my company's job level distribution, but you can see here, for example, level probably like this is executive, non-executive, executive, senior executive, managers. So when you have this, then you actually have a better understanding of what's the job level distribution in your organization. If you're seeing a lot of non-executives, then you have to understand, again, like go back to what your organization is all about. Are you a manufacturing company or are you a sales company? So if you're a more sales type of organization, then a non-executive is maybe not, should not be the highest. And you probably need to either get the right executive or senior executive to actually play a better role in that. And then, and you can see here, the higher positions are usually the lowest because they are decision makers. But if when, we went through actually some of these subsidiary companies, and we realized that there's a lot of managers as compared to senior executive. Then the question is that why does this company has too many managers? When there's too many managers, means you're paying too many people to manage people that does not exist. So you have managers, yes, you promote them, but then again, the question is that when you promote them, they should also have a team. When there's managers but there's no executive for them to work with, it means that you're not doing some market expansion. You're not doing expansion to your business. So it does not help your organization in a way. And then the last one is obviously after you collect the information and then you assess the group-wide distribution, it will also help you with identifying and assess gaps via your performance management system, and also looking into certain people who actually fall under a certain job grade level. Then you have to place everyone under the specific job grade level, as like I shared here. Then you have to actually identify each individual's job grade level and then assess them all over again via performance management system and also learning needs analysis. So I might not be the best person to talk about learning needs analysis, but when it comes to learning needs analysis, I know that you already found gaps, and having the gaps filled in, you obviously need trainings, you need coaching, or you need mentoring, or you need certain technical scalable trainings to actually provide to the specific individuals. And even if you want to promote this person to a better position, then you need to provide a better training for this person so that they have a better grasp of the knowledge they need to have before they can actually be placed into the specific position. And after that, with that, you can actually have a better project manpower planning because how many people in the organization that actually that is not performing as much, or if there's too many high performing, probably it's also time for your organization to actually expand. And when you talk about expansion, and then you have to look into like a lot of business development and look into like, okay, we have to find more talents to actually join the team, or so look into the possible ways to go into certain countries. So that one might not be something that I'm really good at. So this again leads to a different topic altogether. So with that, that's all I have for now. Yep. I hope I didn't go. Yes.
Well, Amir is actually a quick sharing. I believe that you have done a lot of preparation work, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Actually, I have more slides, but then I realized that some of it might not be that interesting to share. Yeah.
But I have a question here, right? When you're doing the job analysis, right?
Yes.
Basically, you have regularly done a number of questions, and based on the question, you come with the answers, right?
Yes.
And then, but have you ever thought of giving scores for each of the answers and add up all the scores in order for you to slot them into the relevant level? Otherwise, will there be any argument between the department heads on whether we should put them on level 3 or level 4? Yeah, what is your advice on that one?
Okay, so when we do the job analysis, again, the important thing is not to analyze this person's role. You have to analyze the role itself. For example, there can be 3 Amirs as a sales manager. but don't look at 3 AMI separately, but look at what a sales manager needs to do. And then from that, you have a list already of the items that, like sort of like a checklist that needs to be fulfilled. And with that, you can see like AMI 1 probably hit 7 out of 10. And then AMI 2 probably hit all 10 out of 10. And with that, that which actually of them that needs to close the gaps. Yeah. So again, this job leveling should not focus on the specific individuals, but it's the position itself. Yeah.
I see. So any other questions?
I have a question here.
Yes.
I mean, can I check with you, do you use competency metrics when you are doing this job leveling?
Yeah, okay. So yes, competency metrics, like I mentioned just now, is more onto the performance management side. So basically the job leveling is to, you have to analyze the position, the role. You have to list down all the details of the position. So competency is when you need to know, like, what is this person needs to fill in the gap. So if you can, if I can share with you, probably just one. I think I can share. Let me just share this. Oops, where's my screen yet, right? Okay, let me just share screen. Okay, so you can see here, if I were to zoom in, so actually we have the questions that I have here is, up to like, the people leadership skills, what a challenge. And then when you talk about competencies, you have to actually break it down to the people leadership skills or the competency, and then the technical, competency, or even like when you look into like the business arguments of these individuals, then you have to actually break it down accordingly. So the competencies can be whether it's technical or non-technical. Usually when it comes to the performance management system, you kind of group it into specific criteria. But for this position, for this process of job leveling, you actually have to break it down as detailed as possible. So as you can see just now, I probably have shared about 15 questions, but with this process, I break it down and then to have a better understanding of like up to 17 questions. And then with this, you actually have to break it down again, what are the certain knowledge, skills, abilities, and with this, the certain competencies actually differs from one position to another. And this is actually, again, please do not fall into the trap of just because, for example, I can say that, Amir 1 is actually good at what they're doing, so Amir 1 is the benchmark. No, you cannot put because of Amir 1 is actually good, but you have to, the leaders, and you have to work with the HODs that this competency is what is expected, not because it's coming from this particular position. So to answer again your question, this competency, do I use competency? Yes, but more of the time, most of the time, the competency assessment is actually done during the performance management system. This is just to spell out the positions competencies.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for
You're
sharing.
welcome.
Rita, you're muted.
Yeah.
Thank you. Among all the parameters, there is one called people skills, right?
Yeah.
And then in your slide, you show that you have 5 levels, and then I can remember second level is supervisor. I can't remember exactly the title. It says a good people skills. And next level is essential, and then the level after is crucial.
Yeah.
And then the last one is having some sort of support, have subordinate working for them, right?
Yeah.
So among the good, crucial, and essential, how could you tell?
Okay, so this one, oops, sorry, where am I right now? Okay, so oops. Okay, yeah. For the people skills and also leadership skill, people skills usually I will group it with leadership skills as well. So when it comes to people skills, like for example, you know, it differs from like a sales person to an IT person. So when you have minimal, for example, so there's no interaction with people. So you have to assess also the level of interaction with people. So if let's say you have minimal, then you have to also break it down to a more better understanding for you to know actually an IT person, a non-executive IT person might not be, you know, communicating a lot with external parties, but even but you know, if you're talking about a front desk person, then minimum skills might be of a second level already. Then you have to shift it accordingly. Yeah, and then you have to break it down the level of contact with the external parties, or even in the interdepartment employees as well. Yeah, you have to break it down. So I when I just put like minimal, crucial is just you know, a very high level, but just to show you that, you know, that level of the extent of people skills that is needed. Yeah.
Okay, any questions from the participants?
I have one, not sure
Yes.
if it's entirely relevant.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, in your opinion, at what phase or stage of a company should job leveling and job grading be considered and implemented? I mean, like, for example, like startups, should they be looking at job leveling and job grading even at the start, or you know, maybe later on when they're a bit more bigger, or like SMEs of a certain size, you know? So yeah.
If I were to, I did have this question actually. Actually, I asked the same question when we engaged the consultant last time, and the question was given is that as long as you have employees, you have to get it done. So reason being because you don't know when because startups will eventually grow. So if you wait until the end when you become like a huge conglomerate, then you already have like thousands of people. You
It's
might
a bit difficult.
Yes,
Yeah.
and time will be longer to actually run this. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
And
You're
also
welcome.
this is for career development, right? So we should give we should have this kind of arrangement always ready for our employees. Yeah.
Yep.
Amir, anything to add on to your presentation today?
Nope. It's just that just to share with you that usually this process is not a short 3 months project. It usually runs at least a minimum of 1 year, regardless of how big or how small your organization is, because of the minimum 5 steps. Because when I shared just now, the 5 step is actually just a high level. When you break it down, there's a lot of other you know, sub task or sub task that you have to do in between, and with that it goes on. I think my last employment, we actually run this for the whole 2 years, and then with this because we have about 12 subsidiaries, and we actually gathered all the HR, from the HR VPs, from the HR managers, to even executives, to even HR generalists, to actually come together and look into this together. You have to leverage on each other. If you're not getting any consultant, but if you get consultant, they just pay and they will run it for you. Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand that you have 5 levels, right? You have 5 levels. And I think in the market, we talk about broad banding, meaning that some company only has 3 levels. What do you think?
Yeah. So a broad banding is actually, again, like when I break it down to 5 levels, is actually just to have a better, this is based on our experience. When we were given this 5 levels, is actually for us to where we can actually start first. So if you have a broader band, then you probably group like a mid to higher position in one go. And then the challenges that you might be facing at that point in time is probably, you know, talking about the higher level and talking about mid senior position is two different ways. And then when you when you address them accordingly, the higher levels might have more details into it. But when you break it up, when you have more breakdowns, 5 or 7 levels here, then you can actually have, within 3 months, or probably within 1 month, you can settle the non-executive. Within 2 months, you can settle the executive and senior executive. So it helps you to actually manage your time better as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have any question for you. So any questions for Amir before we close the session today?
Thank you for the sharing.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So Foster
then-
is another one of our committee member. So
Hi.
shall we give a round of applause to Amir, because he has done a lot of preparation work for this membership.
Thank you.
Okay, so have a very good weekend to every one of you, and we hope there will be another member sharing coming soon. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Safe.
Thank you, Amir and Rita.